We have seen, just yesterday, I received an alert on my phone, and it said the President Hamdan Dagalo, Vice President of Sudan's Transition Sovereign Council, arrives in Nairobi for talks with President Ruto. Prior to this, we saw a statement he issued on South Sudan.
Yes.
Asking both parties to abide by the terms of the truce, and he talked about how there's a humanitarian crisis there, and he called for intervention. And prior to that, although some took issue with him donating aid, we did donate aid to South Sudan, but also prior to that, Somalia, and those who took
and I think Olive, as much as people were saying there are so many Kenyans who are affected by drought.
Yes.
That kind of diplomacy is what Kenya needed at the time.
Exactly.
If you ask me, sending food to a neighbor who barely can survive and keeping just a little bit for yourself wasn't really something negative per se, because at the end of the day, he was trying to assert his presence in the region in one way or the other. And speaking of Sudan, Kenya has been part and parcel of the Sudan peace process since Daniel Toriti Arap Moi's era. So I think President William Ruto will not be walking into a dark really tunnel. He has institutional memory, and that's why people like Kalonzo Musyoka, who have been inside that process, will be really critical in terms of him engaging with this matter of South Sudan. And if really Kenya doesn't try to fix the problems there, then you're told if your neighbor's house is burning, if you don't put out the fire, then it may really just cross over into your house.
Yeah, Olive, you know, President William Ruto, Dr. Ruto is proving to be a good listener and a prudent manager of statecraft, especially when it comes to matters of defense and foreign relations and national security. He has shown a lot of respect for the security agencies and the sacrosanct that comes with that facet of the management of state affairs. And then he has projected that kind of aura into the management of regional relations in a good way. And I think what he's driving at is really trying to see how much Kenya can gain from the potential of trade, commerce, and exchange that is in our African markets. The population of Africa, and I remember President Dr. Ruto saying this when we were marking Uganda's independence, just after he took over, and he went to Kampala, and he was talking from there, and he said, we have just so much in our market, in our regional market. Kenya's, the population of this region just alone is over 500 million, just the immediate sub-region. And we are talking a population of 1.3 billion Africa put together. If you take the population of Africa, China and India, you have most of the world. And a third, you know, of the world population is as good as just Africa itself. And he's saying the Africa Free Trade Continental Area, that's a whole mechanism right there. And he's saying then we have to start at home, we have to start in our sub-region. We have to make sure we overcome these problems. Of course, you have these groups down here, Al-Qaeda, Daesh, Dawla Islamiyya fi al-Iraq wa al-Sham. Then you have all these other dangerous terror groups. Then we have again the whole problem of drought and desertification, climate change. Then of course, problems of state formation and governance. And those are the things he's attacking head on in a very nice way. And like you said, Leila, President Ruto is looking back in history and saying, what did we do before? You remember during the El Nino phenomenon, 1998, if I'm not wrong, 97, torrential rainfall down there, deluge, we say, in Mozambique. And you saw that CNN photo, that CNN coverage, the lady who delivered the mother on atop of a tree. And President Moi was so moved, he sent several tons of maize down there because people just couldn't access. The whole place was just flooded. And we had President Chisano those days. And, you know, President Chisano would speak Kiswahili. And then President Moi would call him and he'd just talk to him in Kiswahili. And it was such an endearing moment. And that is exactly what President Ruto has done. He's looking at where there's an issue, and not just being opportunistic, but really trying to show the importance of three things: trade, strong institutions in our region, and of course the democracy. Then, so when there was one scholar who said, if you have trade and you have democracy and you have good institutions, you are able to uplift the people and the quality of life. And I think that is what he's driving, so that at the end, the benefits for his bottom-up philosophy will then be so many times fold. And I think it's a good sense of direction and leadership for the region.